Well, hello, everybody. I'm Laurie the Duck from First Wave on SiriusXM, and I have to tell you, I am in the dead of winter. You know, winter's my fourth favorite season. I am getting pumped for the 80s cruise, and joining us on the 80s cruise, and I have them in two different locations right now, is Dennis and Michael from Musical Youth. Hey, guys, how you doing?
Hi, Larry.
Hey, how you doing, Larry?
Good, sir. Good, good. So, Michael, you're in Canada, right?
That's right. Yes, that's my new
Okay.
home. I've emigrated to Canada now. Why I don't know.
Is that
I know.
milk you're drinking there, Michael? What are you drinking there?
Yes, I'm definitely drinking milk. This is milk, guys. So all the
Okay.
kids watching, I'm drinking milk.
That's how you stay warm up in Canada.
Yeah. For all the adults in the room, this is eggnog and rum. It's a favorite.
I think they have that on the 80s cruise for sure.
Fantastic.
And Dennis, you're in Birmingham, England, huh?
I am indeed.
And you
So
got snow too, huh? The both of you got
no,
snow.
no. Well, I got rain at the moment.
Rain now.
Rain right now.
But you
A
said you got
storm.
snow a little while ago, a couple of days of
Yeah,
snow? Or?
last week we had a couple of days of snow.
Okay, cool. So are you guys pumped to get out of the snow? I know I mentioned winter's my fourth favorite season, but to get down to Miami, right? March 2nd through 9th for the 80s cruise. Have
Yeah.
you guys ever done anything like this before, a cruise?
No, not at all. None at all.
Not at all. So you know you're on for 8 days, right? It's 8 days,
Yeah.
7 nights, and you know where we're going, right?
Yeah. I know where we're going.
Yeah, Nassau, San Juan. We're
Yeah.
going to Dominican Republic, Puerto
Mhm.
Plata.
Uh-huh.
Spanish there.
Yeah.
So I have to tell you, this is my fifth cruise, and every
Okay.
year it's unique. And this has got to be your first. So I remember my first cruise, I was just overwhelmed just
Yeah.
by the people, the staff, the energy. And I think, you know, when it really sinks in, when you walk on, because you have all your equipment, right?
Yeah.
And you got to go through that whole compliance thing of, you know, like the safety check and making sure you know where the rowboats are and all that stuff. But at 4 o'clock, everybody gets on the main deck, and you have to picture like 4,200 people with rum and eggnog.
Fantastic.
I think I'm going to specially order that for you, Michael, because I love
Oh,
rum. I
please,
mean, this is the time
please.
of year.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But 4,200 people get on that main deck and you soak it in, and you got to take your camera, you got to
Yeah.
videotape it because you're going to have your time, right? We're going to interview you. You're going to do, I think, at least two performances, right? Is that usually
Yeah,
how it
that's
goes, right?
right.
So, how do you feel? I mean, I know we're like less than 90 days away, but how do you feel now?
Um, you know what? I just roll with the punches, Larry. I just roll with it. If the ship is rolling, I'm rolling with the ship.
Well, the ship does roll. We did hit a storm one year, and
Yeah.
half the pool water left, but it's okay. It's safe.
But I can swim, so I'm good. I don't mind that.
Yeah. Well, I'm allergic to sharks, so I've got to stay on the ship.
Well, look, you're gonna have a blast. So let me talk about you guys. I mean, Musical Youth started really back in 1979 in Birmingham. So I guess Dennis, you joined in 1981, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Michael, when did you join?
So I joined originally. I was one of the original members then. And Dennis is an original member too. So I'm just putting that out there because rumors about Dennis joining a band that was hadn't actually been formed yet. So the actual musical youth itself was formed when Dennis actually got into the band.
Okay.
Before then, we were going out as, you know, this band with a lead singer that was like 35, which sounds young today. But he was we were all like 11 and 13 and sort of that. And it just wasn't working. So when Dennis joined, that's actually when Musical Youth actually signed a contract and actually happened. But so I'm just putting that out there. So we've been playing along with Patrick and Junior's father, Freddie Waite. And when I say play along, we were doing these now and again things. It wasn't sort of like, oh my God, we're on some tours and doing whatever. We've done a couple of local, we call them pubs in England. I don't know what they call them in the States,
Bars.
bars, whatever. So we played, but we couldn't actually drink there, but we could actually play there. Ridiculous scenario. And so that's basically the essence of Musical Youth starting out.
Well, Birmingham was a hotbed, right? If you think about UB40, Dexy's Midnight
That's,
Runners, right? You had the
that's right.
English
Yeah.
Beat, Steel Pulse
That's right.
comes to
Yes.
mind, you know? I mean,
That's
you
right.
had
And
a
we had
whole
Oz's
hotbed of
band as
music.
well, Black Sabbath.
Wizard.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
is it?
Now we're getting a little deep.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
what was it like? I mean, you were like 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, as you mentioned before.
Yeah.
What was that? I mean, you couldn't really drink your egg and rum and have a
No, at that
pint.
time I was just drinking milk as I'm drinking now. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So at the time, we were obviously just learning our instruments, and we were having a lot of fun. And that's basically how it started. A couple of fathers getting together and saying their kids play instruments. My dad and the Waite brothers' father, and we just basically formed a band then. And we just, as I said, we were playing local pubs here and there, nothing major. Um, and it was at one of these pubs we were playing at that the record executive saw us playing and said, you guys would be great if you had a younger singer. And we then had this great audition, a bit like the X Factor, and we said, okay, great, we're going to have this great audition and we're going to hope, thousands of people turn up. So we had this audition and, we made sandwiches and everything and told all our friends at school and everything. Now the audition happens, and the only person that turns up is Dennis. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my God, you're telling everybody this is it. But bearing in mind at the time, there were lots of bands happening in Birmingham, as you said, UB40, whatever. So being in a band meant nothing. And a record deal even meant nothing because nobody really knew what it was. So in fairness to those people that didn't turn up, they just thought, oh my gosh, somebody's having wants a lead singer, whatever. However, when Pastor Dutchie had got to number one, I remember parents knocking on my parents' door, and saying, my son couldn't make it on day. He's ready now. He's free now. When's the audition? When's the audition? And my dad was like fighting them off. Look, it's finished. It's done. Dennis is the lead singer. And they were like, no, he can't be because we wanted to come that day, but we were busy and we're ready now. And it just became pandemonium at my house. And it's one of the great things I remember because I'm like, when an opportunity comes, you grab it with both hands, which is like this cruise. It's happening. I'm grabbing it with both hands. I'm flying in because I've not been on a cruise before and I don't want to miss this opportunity. But going back to our original starting, Dennis came, he sang, and we then said next, and there was no next. So Dennis got the job by default.
We have Dennis and Michael from Musical Youth right now on the 80s Cruise on this podcast that we're doing as we get leading up to the ship. So the debut album was, you talk about the beginning, the youth of today, and you talk about Past the Dutchie, and you think about how that was a worldwide hit. It was like number one in New Zealand for like 20 weeks. It hit number 10 in the United States on the Hot 100 Billboard, number one in England. I mean, it took off like wildfire. One song, bunch of kids. And the video, of course, then broke on MTV. So everything just exploded for you all at once. And I guess your doorstep got a lot more busy with the both of you, right?
Well, my doorstep was quiet. Michael's wasn't. I mean, the whole thing about MTV, we didn't even realize that we were the first black artists to be played on MTV. And I remember we were on a half-term school holiday in February, and we flew out to Jamaica in February, and then they flew us to New York in February. So we flew from the oven into the freezer.
That's right.
We did Saturday Night Live with Joan Rivers, and we did MTV. We went into the MTV studios and did the interview, and it didn't even occur to us that they didn't really play black artists on MTV. So it was kind of like, it's only retrospectively that people said, you guys were the first black artists to appear on MTV, even before Michael Jackson.
Which is amazing. And the thing is, as a young DJ myself in New York, I worked for a radio station called WLR FM. And there were a handful of us, like KROQ in Los Angeles, Live 105 in San Francisco, 91X in San Diego, where we actually played the import of Past the Dutchie. But we were also playing like Free Nelson Mandela. I actually interviewed in my first year of radio, Peter Tosh.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, he had a guy that would clean up after him. He had a spiffman that was like a cigar. And the more he smoked, the funnier he got. It was just an amazing, and that's like, it's an impression on me. So for us, diversity in music for radio at that time and MTV, the doors were starting to open up. And I think that was a great time for all of you. And I also remember, so I mentioned LIR because there's a number of movies that had Pass the Dutchie in it. And there was a movie, you may not have seen it. I have no financial stake in it. So I just mentioned it because I'm in it. It's called New Wave Dare to Be Different. So your video's prominent in the movie, but it's also in Alvin and the Chipmunks, right? The Wedding
Right?
Singer, Scooby
Yeah.
Doo. It even made it to Stranger Things. You and
Yes.
Kate Bush made it to Stranger Things, you know?
Unbeknownst to us.
Yes.
And
So
that
the
was a top.
question they had for Kate was, when they had Running Up That Hill, I guess it was 3 episodes. I said, so
Yeah.
how much did you get? And she got like, what was it, like 1 million an episode, 3 million? And they said, Kate, what are you doing? I'm gardening and collecting $3 million. So I
She
guess
did
for
better.
you guys, that was like amazing to get your song into all these wonderful movies, right?
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Can I just say something about that though?
Yeah.
Because the song was such a worldwide hit, so massive. Yeah, I mean, you just couldn't make it up. Where I live right now is a really small town. There's like 12,000 people. And so when I moved here, I knew nobody and I thought knew, but no one knew me. And my neighbor invited me over for a drink one day and he says, look, come over and have a drink at my bar. So I had a drink at his bar and he's like, I'm into music, whatever. Do you, I know that you play. Is there, is there a song that I might know? And I says, well, I doubt it, but and I just mentioned Pastor Dutchie, and he almost fell off his bar stool. He's like, what? You did that? And I was like, do you know the song? He says, do I know the song? This song was at #1 for 3 weeks in Canada, isn't that? And the fact that you can go to a tiny, tiny place in the middle of nowhere and people know this song, it is so humbling. And because of that, though, people often think that was the only hit we ever had because it was such a massive hit. And we've had other hits, obviously, with Donna Summer and, we've done songs with Stevie Wonder and stuff like that. But because this song was so big, it almost transcends everything you could ever do. I don't know what it is about the song that if I could recreate it, I would. But it just seems to be this song is so big. That's what musical youth is known for. But we had other hits that people often say, oh, that band must have been a one-hit wonder because they never hear any other songs. But we did. It's just that it would be impossible to have another hit that big worldwide. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I love, look, Never Gonna Give It Up was a great,
That's right.
great
That's
song,
another thing. Yeah.
I mean, it's the musical hook, right? The melody of Pass the Dutchie, I think that's just
Yeah.
infectious, right? So
Yeah.
people will say a great song is a great song is a great song, no matter how you boil it down. It's got the rhythm. It's got, if you can hum to it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. That's how the
Then it
Beatles were.
becomes like an anthem
Mhm.
Yeah.
because that's what got us all into music to begin with, right?
That's
It was
right.
the
That's
passion,
right.
the
You,
music, and it was the fact that people gravitated to you, just like you will
Yeah.
see on this ship. People will
Yeah.
gravitate to you on the 80s cruise because you're going to be amazed at how free and open and people are so respectful. I've
yeah.
always been amazed about that. And there are 5 of us that host, right? So you have
Yeah.
Mark
Yeah.
Goodman, Downtown Julie Brown, Alan
Yeah.
Hunter. You remember them from MTV. They're also on 80s on 8 on
Yeah.
SiriusXM. I'm
Yeah.
on First Wave along with Lori Majewski. And the 5 of us just have a blast. And it's work, but it's also
Yeah.
good work
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you're going to be interviewed. I'm going to put in a plug that I'm the one that interviews the both of you.
Yeah.
But you'll be doing a couple of performances and things like that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's just free and open.
Yeah.
So I just want you to know how you're going to look back on this,
Hmm.
and it's going to be
Yeah.
a great memory. And take a lot of photos and video.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. We
I mean,
definitely.
as I said,
Now, let me
it's
ask you, what are you doing now? I mean, are you touring? Is there any touring going on before or after the cruise?
well, my Mike's in Canada, but I'm doing the last Musical Youth show of this year. Well, I say Musical Youth as a full band.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Saturday in Kent, Folkestone. But no, we'll be touring next year. And we're actually coming across to the East Coast. It should be on the Totally Tubular tour. And we're just waiting for confirmation of all the dates. That's all. And we've
Well,
been doing the West Coast last 80s for the last 5 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
4 or 5 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking because you're in Miami, right? So sometimes what the bands do is they'll continue on,
Yeah.
to route the trip once you're. And hey, it's the dead of winter, right? So you're in Miami,
Yeah.
going to the Caribbean.
That's right.
It's still
Yeah.
not too late to book a tour. I'm just saying, and I know it's
No.
expensive to tour in general.
Yeah, it can be, but no, I mean, I got family in Miami, so I'll be stopping down there a couple of days.
Oh, okay. Well, also on tour on the boat. I don't know if you know Andy Bell from Erasure.
Yes.
Andy
Yes.
Andy lives in Miami Beach.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, we should just call on him. Like, don't even tell them we're coming over. Just knock on the door, like the night before the cruise. And we'll bring the eggnog and the rum.
Yes,
Well,
that's right.
I'll have the rum because it's my birthday when we take off.
Is
That's
it on
right.
March 2nd? It's your birthday,
March
Dennis?
2nd is my birthday.
That's right.
Damn, man, I'm buying you a drink.
Good, man. As long as
That's
it's
right. I have to buy one too now. You
Well,
see, now
Michael, of course, you're in on the
I'm there,
party,
Larry.
man. Of course.
Exactly.
I'm there. I'm
Well,
there.
happy early birthday, Dennis. Yeah, we got to
Thank you.
celebrate your birthday. That's very
Yeah,
cool.
well, I will. I'll have the whole week to celebrate it.
That's right.
8 days, man.
That's
So,
right.
brothers, I have to tell you, I'm really psyched that we're doing this. I'm so psyched. Musical Youth is going to be on the 80s cruise, and I'm Larry the Duck from First Wave on SiriusXM, and I'm just honored just to be speaking to both of you, and I want to wish the both of you happy holidays, Merry
Thank you.
Christmas, Happy New Year to you and your families.
Thank you.
I will raise a glass of eggnog and rum to you guys later,
Cheers.
I'll have the empty glass.
Yes.
and we're gonna have a great time. Look
Thank
forward
you,
to
Larry.
it. Okay.
Look forward to
Thank
seeing you in the flesh.
Yes, sir. In the flesh. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Michael from Musical Youth.
Yes.
Thank you.
The 80s cruise, baby.
Hey.